Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hi, I'm Jody. I'm glad that you're here today. This video is for all of you that are thinking about maybe making a career change, and maybe you're in your 40s or 50s and you want to know what are the things I should be thinking about. I want to take you on my journey of leaving a successful corporate position. I was the president of the US operations for the largest global staffing firm in the world, and I had had that career for a number of years. I had grown up in that industry. I'd always been in the staffing and recruiting industry, and I decided I wanted to jump out of that and become a content creator in the beauty space at age 51. Not a smart decision by a lot of people's opinion, but it was absolutely the right decision for me, and I don't regret it for a minute. However, I do think there are some lessons learned and some pitfalls that you just don't know it until you go through it, unless someone shares with you the bullet points of what to be thinking about, which is the purpose of this video. I was really surprised when I decided to take this journey, how many people in my surrounding circle of friends, acquaintances had been thinking about doing the same thing, and they just had a lot of questions. I don't pretend to have all the answers to those questions, but I have checked off a few of them on my 3-year journey, and that's what I want to share with you today. So I hope you'll join me to go through this journey and learn some of the mistakes I've made in case you're thinking about a midlife career change. And it doesn't mean you're having a midlife crisis, which is a question I got as well. But if you're thinking about changing careers and you're thinking about going into this digital content creation space, this video is for you. Or if you just want to hear my story, I'd love to take you along my journey, and let's get started. For me, this career change came in June of 2021. Now, you'll all remember that is as we were starting to emerge from COVID. I don't think I made this decision because of COVID, but I do think that I don't want to call it isolation because I wasn't isolated. I had family and close friends around, but I do think that that time was a time for me to really evaluate, is this where I see my life for the next X number of years? And the ability to have more decision making over my own path. I think because of COVID, I felt like I wasn't in control of any decisions in my life. And that was because the government was having to control, for all the right or wrong reasons. It's up to you to make that decision. But we weren't able to make decisions like, do we go outside? We can't go outside. Can we go to the movie? We can't go to the movie. And I think that inability to make my own decisions about my own life sort of started me thinking about where in my life can I make changes to make more of an impact with my own authority, my own decisions. I don't know that COVID was the single most biggest factor that led to me wanting to make a career change, but it certainly helped. I think another big piece of it was I had been in the same industry since I was 24, and I was not complacent. I never got complacent because I loved the challenges of the job, but they weren't bigger challenges. They were just day-to-day tasks that were challenging, or growth in revenue. How to grow revenue was a challenge. But I was speaking the same vocabulary from the same industry for years. And I just really felt like I need a bigger challenge. I need to learn something new again. And as we get into our 50s and we start to get through menopause and you hear about brain fog, I was a little afraid that that might happen to me if I was in a job or a career where I didn't need to really challenge myself. I could almost go on autopilot sometimes if I allowed myself to, and I wasn't learning. I think that was it. I wasn't learning. Whew, boy, did I learn. Let's get into this journey because it's not only been transformative, but learning to reinvent yourself and reinvent yourself online at 51 in the beauty space has really required me to dig deep, find self-confidence again, find courage again, and find a willingness to embrace the things that I cannot control. And I think if you are thinking about a journey like this, I totally support you and would suggest that you jump in with both feet, because we only have one life to live. We're only here for a short amount of time. And so what if you make mistakes? I have made plenty, and I'm going to share them with you today. But who cares? You'll recover from it, but you'll learn. And it's so much, life is just so much more colorful, I think, than it was before. I feel more alive, if that makes sense. I feel like all 5 senses are really robust, where before I feel like maybe that wasn't the case. And for no one's fault other than probably my own for not making this this jump sooner. The first thing I had to learn was I had to learn how to learn. And what I mean by that is when you grow up in a corporate environment, there are training departments, there are mentorship programs, you have a leader ahead of you that you can go to when you find a new challenge, or who's doing the job so that you can learn, so that when you get to that job, you have some idea of what to do. And that is not the case when you change careers into a digital content creation space. I literally had to learn how to learn again, and without a textbook, without going to a university to learn how to be a digital content creator. I think I have a PhD now in Google search, because between Google searches and YouTube videos, you figure it out and you learn, but it's not in your traditional way of learning. The other thing I noticed in the learning part of this job was there's so much to learn. Just the video part itself, from how to do your lighting, how to get the right audio, how to edit your videos, which editing software to use, how to publish your videos, when to post your videos, what to post in your videos. So the pre-work as well as the post-production work is a huge learning curve all in itself, but it's really fun to learn if you are interested in that type of thing, or that type of an industry. You also have to learn what is your ideal audience. And when you're in a large corporation, there is, let's say, a room of 50 people that you can go in and you learn from. But in the YouTube space, there's 50 people doing their own thing in content creation. And so everyone is really super busy. And I found early on that while other digital content creators are really nice, they're not that accessible to help someone else learn, because there's so much to learn. It's hard to teach somebody everything that they need to know. You kind of have to go through it and learn it and grab resources along the way. And if you like that kind of thing and you like having to kind of get in and figure it out, then this space is really interesting. I think the industry has come around a little bit. YouTube itself has some great tutorials that help you understand your analytics, for example, the algorithm a little bit better, because that's a whole nother lesson you have to learn, is how do the algorithms work. And once you figure that out in YouTube, you got to figure out the algorithms for Instagram. Once you figure that out, you got to figure out the algorithms for TikTok. And once you figure that out, the algorithms for YouTube have changed. So you're back to square one. And that in itself can be frustrating if you let it, but I find it to be really fun. The second lesson was humility. And I think for any of us that have been in a career for a number of years, you're no longer at an entry-level point. You have worked your way up to management, executive management, leadership, which means you have a certain level of confidence in knowing what you know. I could reach out to somebody in the staffing industry, and more times than not, they would take my call. Fast forward to the space of YouTube, I can't hardly get anybody to return my call in the beginning, and you're really going from a high-level leadership role to an entry-level role. And so you have to get your mindset around that. And I could reach out to people and they don't take my calls. They don't know who I am once I remove the label of president, or what your former role was. Once you remove that label and you're a person again, you don't have the same level of credibility that you once had. And you're sort of stripped of that. And that is a really humbling experience, because you're starting over. Even though you've done these great things, you're in a new world, and everybody could care less what you used to be or what you used to do. And you have to be okay with starting completely over, reinventing yourself, earning credibility again in a space that is beauty. And that's so subjective. And your audience that you're learning, that you're trying to get credibility with, is everyone. So there's not even like you don't have an identified seller or an identified buyer that you're trying to reach. You're trying to reach and appeal to everyone. And that's not always easy. When you go through learning how to be a content creator, a lot of what you learn is to create videos that are two schools of thought. One is create videos that are of interest to you, and the audience will come. The other school of thought is create videos that are ideal for or targeting your ideal persona of your audience or your community. Well, I knew I wanted to create videos that were in the beauty space for women over 40 who are busy and ambitious and just trying to, get kids off to college, take care of their elderly parents, keep it all together while still looking good with the latest pieces of information on beauty resources, beauty tools, beauty products, what works, what doesn't. That was my ideal target, if you will. But then beyond that, women are so much more than that, right? They're moms, bonus moms, they're grandmas, they're aunts, they're children caring for elderly parents, they're into knitting or gardening or ranching or farming or dirt bike riding, whatever that is. And so trying to identify with a persona in every video is exhausting. And so what I started to do was just create videos that I found interesting, that I would have wanted somebody to create for me, that I could learn from, that were educational and entertaining combined, and that helped me learn something that I didn't know before. That's how I started, and my video content has evolved since from 3 years ago, and it's sort of evolved to what it is today, being both of those things. There's videos that I'm interested in, and I marry that with what I think my audience is interested in. And the way I got to this point was feedback from you guys, feedback from the community, feedback from the women that watch my videos and say, hey, I'd like to see more of this, or that wasn't really interesting to me. So really the feedback from you guys is so, I can't underscore this enough how important it is. The comments are super, super important because it's feedback, and feedback is a gift, and it helps us as content creators evolve and create content that is appealing to you. The likes and the shares and the subscribe in YouTube is also really, really important. And if anything, this is a plea to remind you, if you watch my videos, if you like them, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and share the videos. Because when you like it, you comment and you share it, that tells the algorithm that you're engaging and that the video is engaging. And that is a really high score for the algorithm. So the more there's engagement between the content creator's video and the audience based on like, shares, and comments, the more YouTube says, oh, that's a good video. I'm going to put it in front of more people like these women. So it's super, super important. And the subscription, you guys, subscribing is really important as well, because if a brand, let's just say, I'll give an example of L'Oreal. L'Oreal's never reached out to me for a brand, but if a company, a brand that's, let's say beauty, because that's the beauty channel, if they look and go, oh, you've got 88,000 subscribers, and on average 50% of those subscribers watch your videos, there's a high level of engagement there. People like your video, you have a good audience. Then the brand, L'Oreal or whoever, will say, let's do a brand deal together and we'll pay you to talk about a product. Those are brand deals, and they're really important to a video content creator. Or they can be a sponsored video where, you know, a company, a brand will say, we'll pay you X number of dollars to mention our brand in your video. You'll notice that more and more content creators do that, because that is one of the ways that content creators get paid, is by brand deals. They're a vital part of making money. And we're going to talk about making money in this video as well, so stay tuned. We're going to get to that. I know that's an area where many of you are interested in learning more about. The next important step in this journey was the relationships that I had. When you are in a corporate environment, or whether you're a nurse or a teacher, wherever you are in your career before you make a career change, you've got relationships. Now, they may be surface because you're at work with this person 40 hours a week, but they're relationships nonetheless. What I found was, once my label was gone and that career was gone and I entered into this new world, those relationships sort of went away as well. And it's sort of like that old adage that your life goes through seasons, and people come across your path for certain reasons at certain times of your life. And while those relationships were important to me, and some of them are still very involved in my life, and they watch the channel, they support it, they encourage me along the way, a majority of the people sort of questioned if I had lost my mind or if I was going through a midlife crisis, when in fact I gained clarity and I gained a new community of people. So the relationships that I had, while they've diminished, I didn't even realize their absence at first, only because I was so immersed in learning this new career. And I literally was working from 6 a.m. to 10 o'clock at night for months and months and months, almost that full first year. Thank gosh I have a very, very supporting husband, because there's just so much to learn that I was so busy, I didn't miss the relationships at first. And just as I started to realize what I was missing in those relationships, I was gaining new relationships in the community. I saw a video from a huge YouTuber, and she said, keep in mind that your community are fans, not friends. And I have to say that I have found that there's a relationship in between there that has yet maybe to be defined, because I don't feel like I have earned fans. And friends are somebody that you think I can call you at midnight and I know you'd be there to help me. Well, I don't have personal phone numbers and emails and stuff like that, so I can't quite identify that way. But there's, again, a relationship right in between there that you really do build when you're creating content. It's not only with your audience, but over time you get to meet other content creators. You might have seen some of the live videos that I've done with Julie Miko, who's up in Canada. Phenomenal. And she has been a really important person in this journey with me, and probably more so than she even knows. And we'll talk about that as well in this video. You definitely create new relationships, and you gain, there's so much to gain. You just have to be okay with realizing that your life is transitioning and sort of the out with the old and in with the new. But the people that really believed in you from your old life will make their way on this journey with you and support you in your new career. And I'm really, really grateful for those of you in my life that have done that. There's so many cool quotes about, life has stepping stones and you learn in each stepping stone. And I would have to say that this journey there are no stepping stones, because with stepping stones, you step on one, you learn from it, and then there's another one in front of you that you learn from, and another one in front of you. And so you kind of know your path. And you step on one stone at a time. I would say this journey into changing careers, midlife, is more like you're on this side of the creek and you can see the creek on the other side, but there's no stones to step on to get there. You can see the bottom of the creek. You're not going to drown in it. It's maybe a foot. And there's a little bit of running water. So you can make it from here to there, but you don't know how in the heck you're going to get there. But it's important to believe in yourself to say, I don't really need the stones in front of me. I can see the other side, so I will figure out how to get there. And I may end up 20 yards downstream. It may not be a straight path, but I will learn a lot of different things along the way. And that's what I would say changing careers midlife is really more about, because every step, you're not really sure what's underneath you. You know the ground is there, but is the rock slippery? Is there even a rock there, or is it a big log? You don't know, but you believe in yourself enough to get there. And there are times when I just feel like sitting down in the middle of the creek and being like, I'm done, just let me float on down. But of course we can't do that. So you've got to make yourself across to the other side. And I don't know that I would say today that I have made it to the bank on the other side of the creek. I would say I can see it. It's within arm's reach. But there's still some learning and some steps I need to take to get there. So prepare your mind for that and know that there's not going to be a clear cut, here's your path, do this, and then you're going to do this, and then you're going to do this, and then you're going to do this, and then ta-da, you're going to be there. That's absolutely not how it is. It's a lot of gathering information, acting on that information, and then going in the next step. As a case in point is when you're in your other career, your social media is somewhat protected or guarded. You, especially if you're in a leadership role, you want to share this persona of polished, professional, sophisticated, because you need to earn and maintain the credibility of the people that you are leading in your organization. And even if you only have 2 subordinates, you still don't want to put a bunch of private personal information on social media when you're in any type of a leadership or management role. That's social media 101. We all know that. So you get very accustomed to having your private life over here, but your social media reflects your LinkedIn, your professional, maybe a birthday party with your kids, or, something very stale, or I guess stale is the best word, but nothing else really. You keep that pretty limited. Of course, people that work with you want to know more. They're curious about your personal life, but they think they want to know more, but maybe they really don't. Again, you need to earn and maintain that credibility. So for years, that was the path that I took and the strategy that I took with social media. Well, when you become a content creator, it's completely the opposite. People are not interested in the superficial, trained, polished, professional, sophisticated, structured delivery of information, suit all the time, pearled necklace. That is an image that social media audiences that you're trying to connect with, That's stuffy. They don't want that. They really want to know, who are you? They want to get to know you as a person. What do you like? What don't you like? What's your house look like? Do you have any pets? Do you have any children? What's your husband like? All the cool things about your life that you've always maybe wanted to share, but were afraid to in a corporate social and in a corporate environment. That has been super, super fun for me because I love my life and I love the fact that I get to share it with people. When I mentioned earlier that I'd mentioned Julie again, her and I had some conversations early on, and she said, Jody, your videos are great, but you come across a little bit too polished. And that feedback was really, really helpful to me because I had to remind myself, oh yeah, I'm defaulting into what I've always done and presented information in a certain way. And that probably does feel a bit too structured for women who just want to talk about lipstick. And so that's really what I want to talk about. And so that feedback was really helpful for me. And I hope you guys as an audience have seen that if you go back to my first couple videos, hopefully you've seen a transition where I've got more comfortable in front of the camera, really letting you guys in to know more of my personality. And that will continue because I think that's really important because you want to know the person, you don't want to know the brand. Does that make sense? So that's really helpful advice that I was given, and I would share that to you as well, is let the walls and the curtains come down, go behind the fourth wall with your audience, let them know who you are, because that's how it's easier to relate. It's more, they can see themselves in the same scenarios that maybe you find yourself in real life and not in the corporate environment, that your persona. All right, so let's talk about income. Let's talk about income. Do you automatically start making a ton of money on YouTube? Absolutely not. When you're in a corporate environment, or again, a teacher or a nurse or a police officer, a firefighter, a social worker, whatever you're in, unless you're an entrepreneur, you know that if I go to work and I do these things, I will receive a paycheck every couple weeks. Let that go. Forget that. Let it go out of your mind, because that is not reality over on the social media digital space. It's more like thinking about, you know, those, is it a cartoon or what? But you know when the people have like a bunch of spinning plates? That is really what it is like. There's ways to create a revenue stream, and some of them are passive, but you've got to get one up and going, and that would be your YouTube channel. And you get that plate spinning and you let it kind of spin, and it's generating some income. Then you got to get another plate spinning, being affiliate marketing. Let that plate spin, keep it spinning, go back, check on your YouTube, make sure that's still going, and then come up with another revenue stream, which could be brand deals. Get that plate spinning. And so if you can imagine yourself doing that all the time, and you can function in that kind of a world where it's not, I do this, I get a paycheck. It's, if I do this, I make a little bit of money. If I do this, I make a little bit of money. If I do this, I make a little bit of money. And all of those little bits add up to be more. That is really how it works. People think if you're on YouTube, you make money. Let me just break that down for you. The way you make money on YouTube is by your audience watching the commercials that Google puts on your channel. When you see those commercials come through, if you guys fast forward those, then I don't get paid for that commercial showing to you. So if you'd like to watch the commercials, that would really help a lot, and not fast forward them. But that is how it sort of, it's almost like you own a TV station, and the commercials that you see are paid for to use your space to show your audience. But if the audience clicks through it, the company that put their commercial there isn't going to pay me for using my audience. So that's number one. And the bigger your audience, the more people that watch the commercials, obviously the more money that you make. I make about $300 a month on AdSense, which is YouTube putting commercials on my channel. It's not a huge money maker, and that's a month. So I do 8 videos a month, and that's not including shorts. So imagine $300 a month for all the work that goes into the videos. So that's why I really lean in heavy with subscribing, liking, sharing, and commenting, so that my videos can get in front of more people. Because if there are a lot more people watching the videos and watching the commercials, that's where you can start to justify the income that it takes to put together a YouTube video. Affiliate marketing is another way that you make money being a content creator. And that really comes from talking about products that you like, and then showing people where they can buy that product, and they click on the code or the link, and you get a small percentage. Sometimes it's 5%, sometimes it's 10%. It's rarely more than 15% of a commission that the company pays, not the consumer, for you bringing that buyer to their product. But that's not always that easy either, because I know for me, I like to go to the store and purchase a product. I like to see it, touch it, feel it. So the links down below are really helpful if you shop from home, but it's not a huge money maker either. The other way to make money is by brand sponsorships. I prefer those over brand deals, where a company will say, we like your audience. Your audience is perfect for our product. So can you talk about our product, and we'll pay you to mention it on your TV show, your video. And those are great, especially if it's a skincare company or it's a beauty company, makeup or hair care, because if they sponsor it, then you just stop your video and say, hey, let me bring you this commercial about this company. And that way you're not going, oh, look at this cream. It works absolutely amazing. Look what it's done to my skin. I love sponsored videos because it's just like you watching a commercial during your favorite TV show. But if it's a brand deal, then it is me saying how much I love this product. And I have done those and I continue to do them. And when I do them, I let you guys know. This is a sponsored video. This product was sent to me. I am earning a commission for doing it. And here's my thoughts about it. I turn down way more deals than I bring to you guys. The older we get, the more valuable our income is, because it's more and more limited. Early on in my YouTube channel, one of my long-term subscribers reached out to me and said, is this really a good product? Because I need to decide if I should buy this or if I should spend money on something else that's really important in my life right now. And I'm so grateful that she sent me that email, because it really brought things grounded for me and makes me realize every time I post a link, do I really highly recommend this? Would I encourage a friend or family member to buy it? And somebody could be making a choice on their income right now if this is really a good product, or should they spend their money on something else that's also important in their life. So thank you to the person that sent me that email. I appreciate it. So do you become a millionaire creating YouTube videos? Not right overnight, you don't. And I'm 3 years in, and I'm here to tell you I'm not a millionaire from being on YouTube. But what I am is extremely happy, very fulfilled. I'm learning every day. I am earning an income, and I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and I feel like I am helping in some way. Am I coming up with a cure for cancer? No. But am I helping women feel more confident and navigating their way through menopause, or at least giving people 20 minutes of laughter and joy in a world that they may not always find it? If I'm doing any of those things, then that makes me extremely happy. Changing careers midlife is not something that I ever saw myself doing, but I'm super, super glad I did. And I would encourage anybody that feels like they're in a bit of a rut and they're not sure what the rest of their life is gonna unfold to look like. If you are like me and you like to roll up your sleeves, if you're gritty, you want to make things happen, you believe that you can always make something happen for yourself, I will tell you this has been the best decision for me. I hope this has been helpful to you guys. I hope you learn from some of my missteps, and I just encourage you to just believe in yourself and jump out there and do whatever it is. It may not be YouTube. It could be whatever your career changes. Maybe you want to open a yoga studio and you've always thought about doing that. Maybe now's the time to do it. Maybe you've wanted to be a wellness coach or a life coach, or maybe you've wanted to be a teacher or a nurse. It's never too late to live your dreams, so I encourage you to jump out there and do it. Thanks so much for hanging in with me. This was a longer video than I normally do. A lot of talking, but hopefully a lot of valuable information. I hope you guys have a good rest of the week, and I will see you in just a couple days. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.